What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Decoding Wisdom. This week's episode is very, very interesting and unique. So pay attention to this. So grab your coffee, your bevy, and let's get going. I'm going to start with a quote. Every specific opportunity is probably a fail, but you want to be optimistic in the general. Naval Ravikant, the OG. And there's a difference between being skeptical and being pessimistic. One sharpens your instincts, the other dulls your ability to act. And most people don't see that. Most people wear pessimism like it's a personality trait, like being cynical somehow makes them smarter or more grounded. But the truth is, pessimism isn't intellectual, it's biological. And Naval Ravikant puts it brilliantly. He says, we're hardwired to be pessimists. And when you zoom out into evolutionary psychology, it actually makes perfect sense. So imagine you're in the jungle. You hear something rustle behind the bushes. If you assume it's food and you're wrong, you're dead. But if you assume it's a predator and you're wrong, you just missed a meal. So in evolutionary terms, avoiding ruin was the only way to survive. So your brain became a master at worst case scenarios. That's the ancient wiring though. And here's a catch. And I don't know if you haven't realized this, but we're not living in the jungle anymore, are we? Unless you choose to, I guess. But in modern life, the cost of failure isn't death. It's discomfort, embarrassment, maybe a small financial loss. But we still react like every risk is a tiger behind the bush. And that's why we need to upgrade our software. We're running ancient instincts in a modern operating system. So let's take a common example. Dating. In the tribal world, your community had maybe 30 eligible people. And if you failed with one of them, your odds shrank very quickly. But today, one failed date is just a search result that hasn't really converted. That's it. And Naval calls this the search function of life. You're not looking for perfection. You're testing, iterating, learning. And when you find the right match, be it a person, a business idea, or a career path, you compound into it. That's where optimism actually becomes your edge. And Naval has another quote, which is, the number of failures doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep iterating fast and cut your losses quickly. And this is pertinent to your personal life, your career, your business, whatever you choose. But I just want to pause on that quote really quickly. The number of failures doesn't matter. Okay? In a world of compounding returns, the one success that actually clicks can outweigh dozens of missteps. But only if you're still willing to try. And pessimism actually tells you it's not worth it, that it didn't work, and it won't work, that everyone's lying. And optimism, on the other hand, says, if this doesn't work, something else might. Now, to be clear, Naval isn't talking about blind optimism. He says to be skeptical about the specifics. So that deal might fail through, that startup might flop, that person might ghost you. Fine. Be cautious with the details, but be bullish on life in general. And he has another one that this is his personal anecdote, which is I'm optimistic in the general. If something fails right now, what was it? Maybe it wasn't meant to be. It was a learning experience and it was an iteration. So that's how Naval thinks. And think about that. What if your failures were just data points? What if every misstep you had wasn't a judgment on your worth, but a breadcrumb trail guiding you somewhere better? It's perspective, right? And that shift from outcome obsession to process trust is what separates seekers from cynics. Cynicism is just disappointment wrapped in armor. Optimism is vulnerability backed by belief. And here's the twist. If you're listening to this right now, it means you've already survived every worst case scenario you thought would break you. So what's really stopping you from taking the next shot? The real risk isn't trying and failing. It's never trying at all. So here's where I land with this. You don't need to fake sunshine and rainbows. You don't need to manifest your way into false confidence. But you do need to recognize that inaction has a cost, that playing it safe can be the riskiest move of all. Be skeptical of shortcuts. Be thoughtful with your energy, but stay radically optimistic that something better is coming your way, especially if you're still willing to search for it. Because in a world with infinite second chances, optimism isn't naive. It's strategic. So if this has resonated with you, share it with someone who might be stuck in their own pessimism loop. And if you're building something, chasing something, or just trying to figure it all out, I see you, man. Keep going. The right thing will find you. Because when it does, it won't matter how many failed dates, botched interviews, or wrong turns came before that. And I promise you it'll be worth it. And you'll be ready. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I really hope you've taken something away from it to implement in your life. If you're enjoying Decoding Wisdom and listening to it on Spotify, make sure to follow us on Spotify and give us a good rating as well. And if you're watching it on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And we'd love to gauge with you guys. Thank you so much once again. And I hope to see you guys next week.